Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Chasing Butterflies. This club sucks, and we're doing a Mother's Day edition.
An event
with my friend Amanda.
Hello.
We're going to be talking about her beautiful mom, Sherry Matranga.
Right there.
And I'm going to show her how to make a, what's that call it? Deviled egg pasta salad, because we wanted to do an activity and not just like stare at each other or what have you. So I'm going to be showing her how to do this while we're talking, and that's about it. I'm cutting some onions. All right, Amanda.
All right.
Start your mama's story.
Okay, so my mother passed away in 2011, and
So where'd she grow up?
okay, we'll start there.
Where'd she grow up?
Let's start there. She grew up in Irving, Dallas, and she was one of four siblings. Her mom, she had a brother named James that was older than her, and then two half siblings, Carol and Danny, from her mom's second marriage. And so she grew up there until she passed away, and then that was kind of a sad story. Like, she passed away. I think her mom struggled through depression. And back then, I don't think there was a lot of resources or help for that. And so when she passed away, there was four kids and no one had any money, all the brothers and sisters. So they kind of were farmed out to an orphanage or to a family that needed like farmhand help, which my mom, being a little industrious worker, was like, I'll stay at the farm,
Yeah.
But she told me, she was like, they had a pool, so she liked it. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
But, and then she eventually, her aunt and her husband ended up adopting them, all four of them, but it was very crowded, and I don't think there was a lot of money to go around. And then eventually she moved in with her granny, her grandmother. And then went to beauty school and met my dad, and became a hairdresser, moved to Houston.
And how many kids did your mom and dad have? Two?
Just me, my brother, Andrew.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then
later on, my dad remarried, and I have three other half siblings. And then my mom remarried, and then I have a whole bunch of step siblings. And then my dad remarried, and then I have
it's bonus family.
Yeah, I need a pie chart, but I have a bunch of people, so it's kind of cool.
Yay!
Yeah.
So you grew up in Clear Lake, and how was your growing up experience?
I mean, it was great in the sense that my mom provided very well for us. I mean, she
was a hard worker.
Hard worker, loved to work as a hairdresser of all things, and provided us with a great life. And then every other weekend we would go and see my dad, who lived in Fair, and go and stay with my siblings there for the weekend. So we kind of had a mixture, and my dad kind of did the rodeo circuit. He worked, but we had horses and in Fair. And then we'd come back to Clear Lake, which was it wasn't like that at all,
No, kind of polar opposite.
Yeah.
Because you're house to house to house, not land.
Right.
Tell me about how your mom became an angel.
When she got diagnosed?
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
So I guess I'll back it up a little bit. In 2008, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so I never had gotten to spend that much time with my mom before. But during the time that I was
Your mom was a very hard worker.
Yes. And so she was running hair salons. And when I was sick, she would come with me to every appointment, the majority of my chemos, all of that. And I guess because my brain was kind of fried from all that medication and treatment, I didn't catch on that she was different. And then we noticed that she was different. And when we took her to the doctor, she was having little mini strokes in her brain, in her frontal lobe. And they were like little pinprick, the way that they described it. And so it was just like ruining her brain. And so little by little, it was like part of her was like disappearing every day. This beautiful, fun, so sweet,
Very
just
sweet.
Amazing person was becoming flat.
Disappearing.
Yeah, every day.
So
it was so weird.
It's the same dementia that Bruce Willis is suffering from now.
She ended up with aphasia, couldn't speak.
Yeah.
Yeah. And his seems, so far from what I understand, his seems to be going a little bit
Seems
slower.
yeah.
And I'm so glad, because that means that maybe they're able to now.
Well, especially with his little girls.
Yes.
And he just had his first grandbaby, and it's like...
Absolutely. And I hope that the medical, whatever it is, that they're able to help him and kind of slow it down. They couldn't do it for her at the time.
Yeah.
And then when she did pass away, she ended up getting, it was like mirror symptoms of ALS. She was, she lost her ability to speak, to swallow. She had to have a feeding tube. And then she was just stiff as a board.
Yeah.
And then when she died, it was because she could no longer push out her CO2 out of her body. And, you know, so.
Bless her heart. So, you know, the reason I even know you is because of your mother, because she was my first. She's my first boss, and I'm very grateful for that because I gained a good friend and a loving friend, and I'm very grateful. And I always say thank you, Sherry, for giving me my friend Amanda.
Aww,
you know, we've got lots and lots and lots of memories.
Well, she loved you, and she loved Chase.
Well, she loved Chase. Yeah.
She loved him.
Big time.
Yeah.
He was her little friend.
Absolutely.
And before she even had grandkids, Chase was her little buddy. But, you know, had I not interviewed with her or whatever, I would have never met you. And I'm super grateful for that. Because I actually did work at that one other place in the mall. I worked there for 3 days.
I didn't know that.
The people that worked there were so mean to me.
Really?
That I walked out. And my mom was so upset with me. She was like, you do not walk out on a job. I was like,
I did. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not putting up with that. And that's, I already had the job with your mom. But there was going to be a lull, like the summer. I wasn't going to be coming on until August. And my mom was like, well, you probably need...
You got to have something. Yeah, because your mom was a hard worker too.
Oh,
yeah, is a hard worker.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, okay, so, yeah, that didn't work out too good. But anyway, long story short, when I finally got there is when I met you, and I was like, all right, not only do I have a cool boss, I have a fun friend.
Yeah, we had some good times for sure.
We did.
Yeah.
Kind of scary. We're lucky to be alive, let's put it that way.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, I could say that about a lot
and
of my friends. Yeah. The end. No.
And the end.
Okay, so how do you now celebrate your mom, or, you know?
Oh, okay. Well, I'll back up on that. Like when she did, you know, pass away, I just remember being so angry at her, and so I stayed angry at her the whole time.
Yeah.
Like I remember when she was still alive and she couldn't speak, and I remember just being like, I cannot believe you're leaving me. You know, like I've been waiting my whole life to spend time with you, and you're leaving, you know.
Well, and the other thing is, like, you missed a couple of years because you were dealing with your cancer.
Yeah.
And, yeah, she was there, but you want to spend happy times with them, not... Oh, you have to be here with me because I'm going to the doctor.
She made it though. I mean, she was fun, and we laughed a lot, like in that hospital, and people
told me
loved
some
her.
funny stories.
Oh yeah, they always thought she was the patient because she was older. So I would go in for treatment, and they were always offering her like a wheelchair or a warm blanket, and she'd be like, "Well, I think I would like a warm blanket." I'm like, it's not her. It's me.
You're like,
yeah.
What about me?
And and she thought all the doctors were just so beautiful. It should crack me up. Like, I remember one of the anesthesiologists when he walked in, he had this really heavy Spanish accent, and he popped in. He was telling me, you know, about the anesthesia. And when she walked out, she's like, "Oh my goodness, I would have put on some lipstick if I would have known he was coming in." You know, and I'm sitting here in a yellow paper gown with a shower cap on, you know, for surgery.
Seriously,
She was so funny. She was a hoot.
How
But
sweet.
yeah, so I feel so grateful that I did get that with her, because who knew that months later, as I'm coming out of my treatment, that she would start dying. Because it was like, she died in 2011 and I started my cancer journey in 2008. So, you know, it's just, and you know, kind of in a way, like I feel like she was there till I was okay, like I was done. I was done and my surgeries were wrapping up and it was just time,
Yeah.
and then it started. And yeah, it was crazy.
Well, I don't know. God has a funny way of...
And I remember when she died, the day that she died, I tried to get there as quickly as I could. My stepfather said, they said that, it's not going to be long. So, I raced to get to UTMB. Jordan spent the night with her, my daughter, and with my stepsister Shay, which was really sweet. They stayed and just hung out together. And then I raced to get there, and it seems like I hit every red light, couldn't find a parking spot. All these things happened. Get on the elevator, and then when the elevator opened, I could see Bay, my stepfather, saying, "She just passed," And then the nurse said, "They do that sometimes, like for their kids, like they,
to protect you, maybe."
Yeah. So I was kind of thinking about like she, maybe that was just she was still in control in that way, but it's just so strange how much I loved her, how close we were. I talked to her 100 times a day, and then all of a sudden, she's gone. But your biggest fear, like as a child or whatever, is in knowing that her mother had passed away when she was young, is that you're going to live your life without your mom. It's like a terrifying thing. And will I ever be able to do it? And now we were saying like the other day, how long has it been since she's been gone? If it's been 2011,
14.
Yeah, 14 years. I think that's just crazy. That. Wow.
Do you ever dream about her?
Every now and then, just like in the last couple of years. And it's nice. I like it,
Good.
And she's just there, just doing stuff. I think sometimes we're driving and I don't know. She's
not Windexing everything?
She's cleaning with Windex, everything. And organizing.
The woman loved Miller Lite and Windex.
And Windex. And Windex.
She would Windex around us.
Like, okay,
we were
like pick up our drinks. We're like,
I don't want to drink that.
Yeah. So funny.
But what an, memorable... I just think it's funny that's one of the biggest things we remember about her.
Yeah.
And I just remember how kind and sweet and never said a bad word about anybody. And
if she did, I remember she would whisper.
Oh, yeah.
They're not very nice. Yes. I don't think that's a good idea.
Yeah.
And I would be like, what? Yeah. So she would just, everything.
It's like St. Elmer's Fire. They have cancer. Yeah.
Yeah. She was so funny.
Yeah.
So funny. Yeah, the only thing she would ever not like about someone was if they weren't a hard worker.
Yeah.
That was like a big crime for her.
Well, I'm going to ask you, but my favorite memory is just being down there with Chase and fishing and floating out on floats. And, she always, I don't know what the word is. She was always, whatever Chase want,
she
what can I do for
him.
you? What can I do for you? You're just like, even us,
Yeah.
She's like, do y'all need this? They probably weren't real happy when we drank all their beer and did a few other things that we probably shouldn't have been doing.
All their supplies.
We took the supplies, and I think we had a talking to.
Several times.
Yeah.
Several times from
Sometimes
Bay.
we didn't get the message.
No, we didn't. But he did at least, he got off his chest and told us kindly.
Like, y'all are mooches. Let's just put it that way.
But we're like, I know we are. Can we keep drinking
But we
beer?
don't have any money.
But
we're poor. But I'm grateful, and God rest his soul.
Yeah.
They sure showed it. Oh my God, it's fish tacos and just, we were always included in everything. And it meant the world to me.
And great parties and great
And at the time, it probably
and
didn't affect me like that. But now that that's all in the past and the memories were so awesome, I'm so grateful.
I am too. It's so weird though when they're gone that there's just like this era of something, and it's just not to be replaced. It's you don't
the
realize
Christmas
it.
parties.
Yeah.
I never seemed to get home before 3 a.m.
Right.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
It was
fun, and all different ages, and that was a cool time.
And I think everybody really enjoyed each other's company.
Yeah, definitely.
We really had a good time.
Right.
Do you ever remember? This is so embarrassing. And not anything. I decided I wanted basically a purple velvet outfit to wear to the
Like
Christmas
Prince?
party. Yeah, I think so. And Richie,
Is that when you got the?
Richie, no, this is before,
okay.
after that. But
Okay.
Richie's mom made it. I mean, my hair was long.
Ooh, do you
curly.
have pictures of it? I want to see this.
Oh God, somewhere. Help.
Now, was it a
Thank
suit?
God,
A dress?
social
I didn't know what
media.
it was.
It was a suit, and
That's pretty cool.
the pants were like above the ankle. But I, oh my God.
Do you still have it?
Well, no. That would probably hurt my mother-in-law's feelings, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I'll apologize later.
Shh.
Yeah,
She does
don't
have it.
tell her.
No.
Anyway, because she did put love into it, but
I know she
when
made
I
your
looked
wedding
back,
dress.
I was, oh yeah,
That's amazing.
beautiful. But when I looked back at that, I was like, really? That was my fashion choice? Because I looked like freaking Barney.
I look back at some of the Christmas pictures, and it was during that, whatever that time period is, like when Seinfeld, when we all had like really big bangs and a lot of curl, like spiral perms and stuff.
Yeah.
And no matter how, and our hair is huge in these pictures. But remember, like when you're doing your hair, you're like, oh, it's not big enough.
Yeah.
You know? And
Yeah.
now you're like, whoa.
You're like, Mount Everest?
Yeah.
Is that you? And the Aquanet.
Yeah. I remember one time I went to a hair show and I bought like bright yellow frosty eyeshadow, and I thought it was incredible. And so I had it on my eyes and wore it to this like luncheon or something. And my mom was like, she was just
not feeling it.
Yeah, but real politely was trying not to say it,
Yeah.
but it was kind of like hinting at like this is maybe not a good makeup choice. And then when we got the pictures back, and when I looked at it, I could not stop laughing. I mean, my eyes.
I would love to
so,
see that picture today.
I wish I could find it. And I swear my eyes were the color as this egg,
Yeah.
And yeah. But she was so sweet. Like that was another thing. Like she wasn't cruel. She didn't say mean things. She just,
She's like, okay,
Yeah.
sweetheart.
yeah, that's if that's a choice,
That's
you're
your
doing
choice.
it. Yeah.
So, I'll tell you a little bit about this. This is just like
what's in there?
boiled eggs, and you smash up the yolk.
Okay.
Cut up the whites. I put a little green onion. The sauce is like mayonnaise, which is, we probably
Right,
should
right.
eat it. Mayonnaise, a little Dijon mustard, a little vinegar, paprika, onion powder, and a little bit of salt.
Oh, it
And then
looks so good though.
Crunched up bacon.
Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah, that was
I
amazing.
haven't had it, but I will tell you this. On the internet, people are going nuts for it. So I was like,
Now, what's it called? It's like egg salad.
it's
No?
like deviled egg salad.
Deviled egg salad. Okay.
Yeah. So I think it would be great for Easter.
Yeah, it's really pretty too. It's very colorful.
Yeah.
I like it.
So anyway,
Yeah, this is cool. And I like this too that we're doing it this time of year because I love Easter. We'd always get like, she'd always bring us, all of us, my stepsisters, everybody, we'd all get like little Easter decorations for our house, or she'd show up with little Easter kitchen towels, or.
that's so sweet.
Yeah, and then like the other day you got me
this.
those little salt and pepper shakers.
Yeah.
That's something that she would have done, just thoughtful little things that, and so when I see Easter time, like at TJ Maxx or wherever I am, I'm like, oh my mom. Yeah, and it just, and then I was thinking the other day, because Jordan, my daughter, does this to me sometimes, and she doesn't even know it, but when I would sit by my mom, she would do this, and then she would kind of real gently like pull look at my hair, and then with her fingernails kind of, and no one ever does that to me. But now Jordan does that sometimes to me, and she doesn't even know. Like it just, it's like, I miss that. I miss that love, that feeling. And I do remember when she passed away, I was like, my safe place to land is gone. Like she was always on my side, or always like, we'll figure this, whatever it was, And so when she was gone, you're just like, how am I going to do this? And I guess part of being a mom is that sometimes you are going to have to let go in different ways, like leaving, or your children leave or move away or whatever. But I think that's been the hardest thing, is that I have made it, but I never thought I could.
Yeah. I still sometimes like, how am I sitting here?
Right.
Because it's like, I just remember, and we're not supposed to be talking about me.
Right.
But
No, I
I'm
want
going
you to. Please, please.
The day Chase was born, and I was in the room all by myself, holding him, and I was like, dude, it's just me and you, kid.
Yeah.
It's
just
me and
us.
you.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this. And because I was so scared and so confused.
Isn't it weird they send you home with a baby?
At 20 years old. I mean, thank God I went to my
You
mom's
can't even
house.
adopt a dog from like, and you know what, from a rescue.
You have to fill out an application to have a dog, but they'll give you a baby.
You're like, here you go.
That makes sense.
Time to leave.
But anyway, yeah, it's crazy. So, like, what's one of your favorite memories about your mom?
Oh gosh, there's so many. I think that.
Oops.
Oh, thank you, ma'am.
I'm gonna put this in the fridge for now.
I think when okay, so one of them. Oh, can you get in there?
Yep.
One that I think is funny is that she just had. This is towards the end of her life, but it just made me laugh so hard was that she had fallen and broken her ankle. So she was at UTMB, and they had to put like pins or something in her ankle. So she'd had surgery that she'd come out. And she was in a room, and she couldn't talk, but she would say like 1 for yes, 2 for no, or if she needed me to like get her up to take her to the restroom, like, she would take her rings and like tap on the little arm things. Mm-hmm. Well, Bay was golfing, so he said, "Would you come in that day?" And I was like, "Sure, no problem." So I'm with her, and this group of interns, they all had on like white jacket, the white things, and they all came in, and it was like 17 of the best looking,
like The Bachelorette.
Yes.
Yeah.
They all came in and they were looking and they were talking to her, talking to me, discussing like her recovery on her ankle, and we were just like, and I remember she was looking at them and I'm looking at them. But when they go to leave, when they left, I look at her and it was kind of a joke, and I just said, "Mother," and she busted out laughing. And then right after that, Bay called and he was on the golf course and he's like, "How's everything going?" I'm like, "You're never going to believe what just happened." I mean, all these models that are like, I dressed up as doctors came in to look at her ankle. And anyway, he said that when he got home that night, he was telling me, he said he laughed so hard on the golf course at us. You know, it was just so
Well, it was
funny.
probably a relief to him that y'all weren't just being sad, but
Yeah.
you were like going, "Oh my God!" Y'all
Yes.
y'all kind of enjoyed.
Yeah.